The late spring weather here, good for the dogs to go to the park, and great weather for baseball here in Austin. Aiden Robbins and the Texas Longhorns wrap up the regular season as they welcome in Missouri for game one of a 3-game set. Taking a look at the SEC standings, Georgia's already wrapped up the regular season title at 21-6, and then just 2 losses separate teams 2 and 8. Top 4 at the end of the regular season get a double bye in next week's conference tournament. Welcome to UFC Udis Folk Field with Ty Harrington. I'm David Salzman. So importance for Texas because of the conference tournament, but they're also looking further ahead. They won a top 8 seed in the NCAA tournament, and this series will be big for those hopes.
If you saw the standings, it's big for everybody. Everybody's positioning for postseason, but for the Longhorns right now, it is important, and this weekend is important for them in positioning in that top 8.
Right now, Texas tied for second in the SEC with Texas A&M at 16-10, and that comes after last weekend, the Longhorns falling in 2 of 3 games to Tennessee in Knoxville. Pitching struggled against a red-hot Tennessee lineup, an ERA of just under 8. Aiden Robbins, though, continued his consistent hitting throughout the year.
I think they came up against a Tennessee team with their backs against the wall, and they were coming out fighting mad. I think that had something to do with it. Obviously, Texas didn't throw the ball as well. But coming back through the series, they had some unsung heroes offensively. It certainly helped them in Game 3.
Well, the man we just saw warming up, Tema Becerra, 8 for 11 in the series in Knoxville, including 6 RBIs. All 3 of Casey Borbas hits home runs, and Adrian Rodriguez showing his power now, 3 home runs since coming back from a hand injury.
Yeah, I think the health of that hand is really starting to come together for him, and being able to apply some strength and some confidence, being able to let that barrel fly.
Dylan Valentis will get the start in game 1 of this series. Tagged with his first loss of the year last week. Didn't pitch bad, gave up just 3 runs to the Volunteers. But the sophomore from Thousand Oaks, California, overall this season just dominant. 7-1, an ERA of just over 2.
Dominant's a great word. Those 2 breakers that he loves to throw, and you see that 4-pitch mix, is really hard for those hitters to get to the middle of that baseball, and he disguises both of those breakers. And when he's landing them for strikes, he is tough to hit.
He'll face a Missouri team coming off a series win, taking 2 of 3 against Vanderbilt last weekend. And their lineup is top-heavy. Jace Woida will lead off with 11 home runs this season to lead the team, and Cam Durnan red hot. 520 his last 7 games, a slugging percentage of .1040. He is the team leader in batting average at .329. Underway, and Valentis' first offering to Woida is a first pitch ball. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every series in the SEC and really all over the country with conference tournament time beginning next week. The SEC tournament will begin Tuesday morning in Hoover, Alabama. Appeal over to third, and Randy Rosenberg says no swing, and Woida's ahead early, 2-0.
I like the way you slid that. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday series for all of us, so we'll make sure we say it all night that it is Thursday and not a Friday night.
I'm going to slip up once on that, at least, I guarantee you. Now 2-1. Woida's graduate from Lincoln, Nebraska. Not only leads the Tigers with 11 homers, but you see those 45 RBIs, that leads the team, and an OPS of .928. This is hit well to right field, carrying, and gone. A solo home run to begin the day for Jace Woida, and an early 1-0 Missouri lead.
Oh, you talking about jumping out on a pitch, and I mean just clobbers this baseball to right field. It looked like an off-speed pitch that Valentis hung on the middle end of the plate. We're going to get another look at it, David. Get another look at a cutter just hung in there, elevated, middle end. Valentis knew it too as soon as it was hit. He drove his ball a long ways to right field.
That's just the 2nd home run allowed by Dylan Valentis all season, and the first here in Austin. Woida's 12th home run of the year. First pitch strike to Cam Durnan, who we mentioned a couple of minutes ago, the hottest hitter for Missouri coming in. 520 his last 7 games, hitting .329 overall with 7 home runs. He's behind in the count, 0-2. We see why Woida is leading off in the Missouri lineup, giving them some early momentum. And now there's 8 home runs in conference play. 3-pitch strikeout for Durnan, and there's 1 down.
Dylan Valentis comes back with that breaker. The pitch before was a slider, comes back to this one. This is the pitch he loves to chase after those hitters with. It's that bigger breaker. They see it, it starts in the strike zone. It's just got such great depth to it.
So now Blaze Ward, who's the SEC co-freshman of the week, hit 462 in the Vanderbilt series last weekend. 0-1 the count. 4 strikes on 4 pitches since Valentis gave up the home run.
I bet you'd have to go back into the books a long ways to find out last time a left-handed hitter hit a home run off of him.
Count 1-1. Even go further. Mentioned second home run Valentis has allowed all season. Just the 11th extra base hit he has allowed out of 51 hits overall. That's foul, 1-2.
Yeah, and that's impressive for a lot of different reasons. I mean, that tells you they're not getting to the bottom or the middle of the baseball on a regular basis. A lot of those, if they're singles, that can often mean you're over the top of them. You know, ground balls to the left side or right side or some line drives. But guys that give up extra base hits, that means you're catching a lot of that baseball when you're swinging at it.
Foul back, still 1-2. This is a new look Texas defense behind Valentis. Now Carson Tinney is the catcher, but the infield has been shuffled. Casey Borba's at third today, Tema Becerra at second, and Ashton Larson at first. Darian Pendergrass is the center fielder, coming back from a hamstring injury. Strike 3 called. That's back-to-back strikeouts now for Valentis, and 2 down. So again, Borba at third, he's on your screen. Adrian Rodriguez still at short. Becerra moves to second. Ashton Larson at first. Ethan Mendoza will be the designated hitter for Texas tonight. Pendergrass in center. Anthony Pack Jr., Aiden Robbins in their usual spots lately, left field and right. Mateo Serna, the Missouri catcher, a first pitch strike.
Yeah, and it's a new look. I mean, defense, infield-wise, but all really qualified defenders. All 3 of the, shortstop, third baseman, second baseman were, shortstops in high school. And to have the versatility to be able to move guys around like that and keep your lineup similar to what you've been able to do is important for coaches. And it talks about the versatility and the utilities and the athleticism of their infielders.
The 0-2 to Serna. 3-pitch strikeout. Tinney will have to throw to first, and that'll do it in the top of the first. Valentis responds with 3 straight strikeouts after the solo shot by Jace Woida to begin the ball game.
Make a bad pitch to a really good hitter. This is what can happen. The top of the lineup for the Missouri Tigers.
Woider's solo shot to begin this SEC series to end the regular season has Missouri up early 1-0. Texas to come to bat for the first time, and a familiar face at the top of the lineup, really the top 3 in the lineup. Aiden Robbins leading it off, and in right field, followed by Carson Tinney, Anthony Pack Jr., Ethan Mendoza, bum shoulder, but still good enough to DH. He hits cleanup, followed by Adrian Rodriguez and Tema Becerra with 6 consecutive multi-hit games and an OPS of over 1,500 in that span. Top of the order has been consistent for Texas all season long, Ty, but now we're seeing the middle and even the bottom of the order the last couple of weeks get more involved.
Order balance is so incredibly important throughout the course of a 56 games, season. But when you get to postseason, if you get both ends of it clicking at the same time, offenses can get really dangerous heading into postseason.
And it's a good pitcher that they will face. Josh McDevitt, the junior, on the hill for the Tigers. 70 2/3 innings pitched, 91 strikeouts. He has allowed just 50 hits and an opposing batting average of just 197.
That few hits is impressive, along with the 90 punch-outs. It's always, impressive. You get more than a strikeout an inning, that's good. And if you're less than a hit an inning, it starts to talk about your stuff. And this one's going to be a 4-seam fastball, 93 to 96. It's got explosive. I mean, it comes out of his hand right at the end. Looks like it just grabs another gear. They get a lot of swing miss and a lot of strikeouts off his fastball.
In his last road start, limited the SEC regular season champs in Georgia to just 1 run over 6 1/3. So here is Robbins to lead things off in the first pitch strike. A junior from Yardley, Pennsylvania, hit his 19th homer of the season last weekend at Tennessee. You see the .355 batting average, leads the team in batting average, slugging, OPS, and in fact 11 offensive categories overall. He's behind the Ken here though, 0-2.
The Texas hitters are going to have to stay off of that fastball at the top of their triangle, meaning right at the catcher's mask. But if it's got that four-seam ride to it, it's tough for them to stay off of it. You see fastball, you think you can get to it, but it's got enough four-seam rotation. It makes it hard for those hitters to catch up to it.
High 1-2. Out of the 19 home runs, 11 in SEC play, and that leads everyone across the conference. An 1159 OPS versus conference competition. Swing and a miss. That's that fastball that you talked about, and there's one down.
We get a look at that ball. It was a fastball away, but you get a look at the usage right here. 67% of that four-seamer you just saw. Now, he went extension side, first base side for a right-handed pitcher. You know, it's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that you're trying to protect as a hitter. When it's off the plate or on the edge of the plate like that, it's even hard to foul off.
So now Carson Tenney, junior from Castle Pines, Colorado, is on a 27-game on-base streak. Ball 1. He's done it more, though, with the walk than the hit. Went just 1 of 10 last weekend against Tennessee and is just 1 for his last 25 official at-bats in SEC play.
Don't ever forget that a walk is a plus 90. Don't ever forget the value of walks. You don't know it until you're on the defense or the pitching side that you start to go, well, we walked the guy. But for an offensive player, and look, Tenney's been so good all year long about, I'll take my walk. I don't have to swing because I've got power. His strike zone recognition is really elite.
If I remember correctly, I think the first weekend of the year, he walked 7 times. It's foul, back 2-1. Mentioned the 27-game on-base streak for Carson Tenney, hitting .333 over that span, 31 RBIs and OPS of over 1,200.
Yeah, that's 17 extra base hits, not too shabby.
Takes that for a strike, 2-2.
That's our first look at his changeup. And his changeup's got some late action to it as well, just like his fastball.
Called strike 3. What a start for McDevitt. Back-to-back strikeouts of Robbins and Tenney.
Well, he likes a lot of fastballs. This is not it. This is going to be his breaker. You can see it starts to surprise Tenney. Catches right at that kneecap, right on the edge, borderline pitch. Either way, he gets the call for the strikeout.
So now Anthony Pack Jr. went 5 for 8 the last 2 games in Knoxville, including a home run. To center, Caden Peer makes the grab in a 1-2-3 inning for McDevitt in the bottom of the first. An early 1-0 lead for the visitors here in Austin. Missouri took 2 of 3 against Vanderbilt last weekend, and big reason why in game 1, one of the strangest plays you'll ever see. 2 runners on, 7-6 Missouri, top in the 9th. Our umpiring crew couldn't see where the ball went, and so they ruled that a ground rule double, even though it should have been ruled a home run. So instead, the game goes into extra innings. Missouri the next day scores in the bottom of the 10th after the night before the crew decided that it was too foggy to keep playing, and craziest 8-7 win you'll ever see. Missouri taking the series opener and then winning the series with a victory on Sunday. Their first home SEC series win since April 2024, and they hadn't won a series against Vanderbilt in 8 seasons.
And you're referring to it should have been a home run based on what TrackMan told them distance-wise and velocity off the bat. But when you were looking at it, I was looking at it for the first time on that screen. I was like, how could they even see? You couldn't even see some of the defenders out there because the fog was so heavy.
I imagine as Donovan Jordan now is behind in the count 1-2. I mean, umpires are humans too. I would imagine if they look back, they would think, why were we even playing? You know, we should have postponed this much earlier. But Missouri got the break. Instead of being down 9-7 in the 9th, they would win it in 10. Ooh, that is laced into center. Base hit. Chase Woida led off the first with a solo shot, and Donovan Jordan leads off the second with a single.
Yeah, he catches this ball right in the heart of the plate and drives it right back where it came from, right over the top of Dylan Volantis. And Volantis had done a good job of getting him over the top of 2 of his breakers to swing over the top and foul him back, but he catches a lot of baseball with that line drive right back up the middle.
So now Caden Pierre. High and tight to the junior, ball 1. Pierre batting .255 with a home run. Was banged up earlier this season, and when he came back, he reached base in 22 straight games. 1-1.
That's probably, they've had 2 barrel swings already in this game off Volantis. Sometimes you go through a game with him throwing, you might only see 4 or 5 the whole game.
What did Tennessee do last week in getting 3 runs off Volantis that other teams had not?
Yeah, and again, it's a personal opinion. I thought they did an excellent job of getting to the middle and the bottom of the baseball. It looked like they had spent some time working on that breaker, whether they set a machine up on stilts where they were throwing a big left-handed breaker probably all week trying to train for it and get ready for it. But also, too, I don't think Volantis' command with his slider was as good as what it normally is. And then he uses that bigger breaker right after that slider. And I think he just didn't have the same type of command as what he's used to having. And I think the hitters recognize that.
Jordan at first, couple of stolen bases on the year. Texas opponents have just stolen 22 bases all season, but Jordan is going. Here's the throw to second, and Jordan slides in safely.
Well, right as you were getting that out about the lack of stolen bases this year and off of Tenney, but Jordan had a great jump on it. We get another. I mean, he did. He had a tremendous jump on that pitch.
It was a strike, so the 4th strikeout for Volantis already, and there's 1 down in the second. But now Missouri with the runner in scoring position for Chris Patterson. Fastball for a strike. So remember, Dylan Volantis began the year as a Sunday starter, but became the Friday starter in the Alabama series here, and just all 4 games. Now, the Tennessee numbers aren't bad, allowing 3 and 5 innings, but before that, just 3 runs allowed in 18 innings of work.
Couldn't get the strikeouts he's used to getting against them as well. And I think it had a little bit to do with the plan that Tennessee had. I just think they spent a lot of time, extra time in between getting ready for that series, working on big left-handed breakers and what it was going to look like and shape up for them as hitters.
1-2. Patterson from Frisco, Texas, of course in the Dallas area, batting .233 this season with a couple of home runs. Back to your point about strikeouts, 12 strikeouts against both Alabama and Mississippi State here, tying a career high in those 2 wins for Volantis. Tap foul.
When he's got both of his breakers really shaped up well and command and what I would call an at-will pitch, meaning an at-will, he can throw that and land it for breakers. The right-handed hitters are going to play pepper with the left side of the field, whether it's foul balls, because they're going to swing over the top of it. What I mean by it, because it comes out of a 9.5-foot angle when he lets go of it, it's just so hard to center that breaker, and he gets a lot of swing and misses off of it, obviously, from the number of strikeouts he's already got this year. But even if they get it in play, and going back to talking about the extra base hits, you don't see a ton of extra base hits off him because you're usually catching the top of the baseball because of the movement on those breakers and the depth on them.
Call strike 3, 5 outs, all via the K for Valantis so far today.
This time he goes with a fastball right on the inside corner. And as a hitter, you're thinking, I know he's going to throw me that breaker. I know he is. And he comes with an inline fastball and locks him up.
So now Eric Maisonet, the junior from Puerto Rico, with 3 home runs on the year. First pitch strike.
I'll tell you one of the keys to this, too, of Valantis is Carson Tenney being able to get his left thumb of his catching hand underneath those breakers and keep it in the strike zone appearance-wise for those umpires.
How hard is that to do?
Huh. Yeah, you see, everybody should go, instead of going to the fair and seeing how hard they can throw and hurting their arms, they should get a glove on, a catcher's mitt, and try to emulate catching a Dylan Valantis breaker.
So, yeah, that's hard. Another strikeout. Tenney will have to throw to first. 6 outs, 6 strikeouts for Dylan Valantis. Bats will look to get things going as the Longhorns trail 1-0.
Get another look at that as that big breaker bounces out front. Just hard for those hitters to hang off of that pitch, as it is tough to hit.
Is in the DH spot today. Good enough to hit, but a shoulder injury after this dive in the Tennessee series last weekend. And you can see right away Ty Harrington, him feeling the pain.
Yeah, and you see it often with guys, infielders who dive, and you can't ask a competitive guy, hey, don't dive. No, that's in his DNA. That's what he loves to do. That's what he's out there to do. It's just unfortunate when you fully extend those hands and those arms that far out there, you run the risk of that shoulder getting injured.
Jim Schlossnagle says expect Mendoza to DH all weekend. Will not throw until either late this weekend or even into next week. And I asked him, I said, well, if this is a regional game, can he play in the field? And Schlossnagle said no. So it is something, obviously, that they would be taking care of regardless of the time of year. But Mendoza good enough to hit as he leads off the second with a .272 batting average and 8 home runs. Crowd did not like that strike call, and it's 1-1.
I think a lot of the Texas faithful thought that that ball was up out of the strike zone, maybe even away, but it looked to me like from our view on the camera that it caught the corner.
.500 on base percentage for Mendoza the last 11 games. That's a point we made in the first, where top of the order has done well all season long for Texas. You have Mendoza getting going. Casey Borba, 3 home runs last week against Tennessee. Tema Becerra, who's due up third this inning, going 8 for 11 last weekend. Adrian Rodriguez is in the on-deck circle. To right center, won't carry. And Pierre, the center fielder, is there. 1 down.
Mendoza thought he got a little bit more of this when or might have thought he got a little more of this. Maybe it was me that did. He had a good swing at it. Center fielder Pierre was able to ease over and catch it.
Series loss at Tennessee last weekend, but Jim Schlossnagle quick to point out 7 of our 9 SEC series so far they have won, and 36 career SEC series wins is the most among any SEC head coach, and that goes back to 2022. Opposite way off the bat of Adrian Rodriguez, and that'll drop. First base runner for Texas is with 1 down in the second. So that'll bring up Tema Becerra, who is in the hottest stretch really of his career. This is at Tennessee last weekend. Home run, 6 runs batted in, 8 of 11 overall. And that only continued his hot hitting. 6 straight multi-hit games for the senior from Clovis, California, coming into this one. And during that 6-game hit streak, Ty, hitting .615, an OPS of 1540.
Yeah, get you some of that. That's real stuff right there. When you start talking about having over a 6-game period, what that looks like, that OPS, that's more than impressive.
His batting average has jumped 49 points during this hit streak, from 277 to 326, which is third on the squad. And that OPS for the year up to 915.
Experienced hitter. Guy's been in college baseball for a while. He's got a ton of at-bats. Doesn't let the lows get too low and doesn't let the highs get too high. And when you've got that mentality and you've got that experience, you can set yourself up for late in the season. A lot of guys late in the year, they get physically tired. They start to play down. Their barrels start to slow down a little bit. Don't have the same bat speed as they had. Have hard times catching up to these kinds of fastballs. But this is a really good, qualified, experienced hitter.
First baseman, Woida, got in the way of Rodriguez and some contact. And Woida rendering, did I touch Rodriguez with my glove with a baseball? Here's another look.
Yeah, it appears that the first baseman was in the path of Rodriguez trying to get back to the bag. At that angle, it was hard for us to tell if he was in line with the bag or not, but the way the play unfolded, it appeared that way.
He is awfully close to Rodriguez here. Rodriguez goes, swing and a miss, throw down to second, and they got him.
I think they're going to call interference at home plate anyway. Home plate umpire had already pointed at Becerra. He swung, stepped ever so slightly across the plate, and there was a little bit of contact with the catcher.
So here's another look at that.
You see him swing, come across the plate, and his hand get into his shoulder. Well, what a throw.
Got him anyway. Rodriguez coming in 12 for 14, stealing bases. So now bases empty with 2 down and an 0-2 count to Becerra. Approaching 125 starts in his career. Played his previous 4 seasons at Stanford before moving here to Austin.
There are only 3 of 3 off McDevitt all year long, stolen bases. I mean, he does a good job of holding the runners. At that point, as a base runner, you're thinking to yourself, you see something or you're guessing he's going to a breaker, give you a better chance to be able to steal the base.
Just the 20th pitch for McDevitt coming here. Called strike 3. Third strikeout for McDevitt as he keeps Texas off the board, and the red-hot Becerra goes down to end inning number 2.
Well, you get a look at Dylan Volantis and the strikeouts. All the outs so far today, you get a look at that breaker. Almost like it starts at the bottom of the clouds and he's come rushing downhill. And it has been a bunch of them, with the exception of the leadoff homer. Get a chance to look at those 6 strikeouts, David, and you think about that, all 6 of the outs have been strikeouts, would put him up to 100.
100 strikeouts this season for Dylan Volantis, and 100 for Ruger Riojas this season for Texas. So 2 Texas pitchers with at least 100 strikeouts this season. That's the first time that has happened here since 2011. Cole Green at 104, Taylor Youngman 126 strikeouts 15 years ago.
200 strikeouts between those 2 pitchers can lead to some boring times for the infielders and outfielders. They get used to it out there.
Of course, Dylan Volantis now with the 100 strikeouts to match Riojas, who we expect to get the start Saturday in Game 3 of the series. Luke Harrison to go tomorrow. Off the bat of Jamal George, Darian Pendergrass gets his first opportunity and makes the catch in center for the first out.
That ball had some hang time to it as he did get to the bottom of that baseball. He hit it out to center field. Pendergrass getting, as you mentioned, his first opportunity.
Pendergrass, hamstring injury, just as he was becoming a part of the starting lineup, so good to see him back. Now Jace Woida, who began the game with a solo shot to right, accounting for the game's only run. Fouls this back. That was his 12th home run of the season and just the second allowed by Volantis all year.
Think about that for a second. 2 homers all year, and the second one coming this late in the year.
Strike called 0-2. So yeah, Volantis has allowed 52 hits, Ty, this season, and just 11 for extra bases now. There's 2 homers, 9 doubles. He has not allowed a triple. He's only hit 3 batters. So remarkable control, and then if you get a hit off him, it's usually only for 1 base. Appeal to third, no swing.
It's just hard to get to the middle of that breaker, bottom line. Look, and he's going to have days where stuff isn't as great as others. That's just the way this game is designed and the way it is. But for hitters, whether you're right-handed, left-handed hitter, to get to the middle and the bottom of that baseball, as you just see, it's hard to do.
7 for 7 now, 7 outs, 7 strikeouts for the sophomore, and there's 1 out in the third. Rather 2 outs. So 8 outs, 7 strikeouts for Volantis, and Kerrick Jackson, a little shake of the head seeing his team struggle for the most part against Volantis, but in his 3rd season as Missouri head coach and an assistant at Missouri when they made back-to-back trips to the Big 12 title game.
First time I met him when he was an assistant at Missouri. Yeah, we played him in San Marcos, and a tremendous person. He really is a great baseball coach, but a lot of fun to get in a conversation with.
Former head coach at Memphis before heading his way to Columbia, and was the head coach at Southern before his time in Memphis and Columbia, Missouri. His team 6-21 in SEC play. 1-1 the count to Durnan. Team's leading hitter coming in, struck out swinging in the first, and now Durnan ahead in the count 2-1.
Unusual big miss for Volantis. It doesn't historically have misses like that where you fastball down in the turf area. The majority of his pitches have meaning to him, as both these pitchers do today.
Talked about how rare Volantis gives up an extra base hit. That's just his 22nd walk allowed in 70 1/3 innings as Durnan is on with 2 outs. This lineup, at least when you look at the season statistics, top heavy. Mentioned Woida's home run already. Durnan, team's leading hitter, and Blaze Ward. Tremendous freshman campaign. SEC co-freshman of the week. And an SEC play coming in, leading the Tigers with a .353 batting average. He's the first true freshman at Missouri to drive in 30 or more runs since 2017. 31 heading into today.
How about both these teams right now have freshmen sitting in the middle of their order. Texas with Anthony Pack having an unreal year as well.
And the SEC co-freshman of the week for that performance in the series win against Vanderbilt. 6 for 13, couple of runs, 4 runs batted in. First pitch. Borba, nice scoop at third, across the diamond to first in time. The usual first baseman for Texas flashing the leather in the hot corner, and that does it for Missouri in the top of the third. We'll talk to Missouri head coach Kerrick Jackson when we return. His team up 1-0. Those two didn't do too bad with the dizzy bat race. Texas down 1-0 as we head to the bottom half of the third. With Ty Harrington, I'm David Salzman. Chase Woida solo shot to begin the contest, our only run so far. And we're joined by Missouri head coach Kerrick Jackson. Appreciate you joining us again, Ty Harrington and David Salzman up in the booth. So I see why you have Woida in the top of the lineup, 12th home run of the season. You have a really good mix of experience, and then you add the freshman Blaze Ward and others. A good mix of experience and youth for your squad, and obviously a good performance on the mound too so far.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like you said, I mean, you put Jace up there. He's not your prototypical leadoff guy, but he doesn't strike out a lot, and he can do that at the start of the game. And then we sprinkle some guys throughout there that can give us some depth throughout the lineup.
Coach, I got to tell you, I heard the reports about McDevitt's fastball, but even on camera, when I'm watching it up here on the monitors, that last 3 or 4 feet of his fastball is plenty explosive.
It is crazy because we've seen some of the best hitters in our conference take some of the most defensive swings in hitters counts, and I'm just like, because you almost think, are they guessing? Like what? But it's just, you know, when you look at the metrics of the fastball itself in a vacuum, the metrics of it aren't outstanding, but that extension and that release height make it a special pitch.
Coach, appreciate you joining us, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, MIZ.
It's Kerrick Jackson, Missouri head coach. His squad up 1-0. And just mentioning his pitcher and the toughness hitters have against Josh McDevitt's fastball. So far, he's just allowed a 1-out single off the end of the bat from Adrian Rodriguez, and that's it. Ashton Larson, a much harder hit. This is hit number 2 for Texas, as Larson is on with a leadoff single, first leadoff runner, or batter rather, to reach base for the Longhorns.
Larson doing a good job of centering up this fastball and driving it out to right field for a base hit. And as you duly noted, that's the first leadoff guy on for the Longhorns tonight. Get that leadoff guy on, it just gives a coach in your dugout that, all right, we got options. We got something to work with here. Let's see what we can do.
104 miles per hour off the bat as Larson reaches for Casey Borba with 3 home runs last weekend at Tennessee, 2 in the 13-6 win on Sunday. He had 6 runs batted in that contest. Junior from Santa Ana, California's OPS now up to 950 after hitting his 13th, 14th, and 15th home runs in Knoxville. There's 51 RBIs, one back of Aiden Robbins for the team lead. Ball 1.
Part of this for Casey Borba is getting timed up with a fastball, making sure he's on time, because he does like the elevated fastballs. Those 4 home runs that hit in the last 8 games, 3 of those homers were heaters up that he was able to get that top hand into play for him and was on time with the fastballs and able to drive them out of the park. But his timing is important for him, because if he gets set up and he sees it, he's a lot more relaxed in the box, and then he starts to recognize the breaking balls and the change-ups with it as well.
He was hot to begin the season. A bit like Ethan Mendoza. Wasn't bad, but just a little off from that hot start. And now, like Mendoza, much more on his game offensively as we head to the conference tournament next week and the postseason. Mentioned those 15 home runs this season for Borba, 31 in his career. That's 9th in program history. Also 115 career RBIs. Ashton Larson at first, who's 2 for 2 stealing bases this season. A 1-1 count to Borba.
Ninth in one of the most historic baseball programs in college baseball history. That's not bad.
If I were to say it's in a way a quiet 31 home runs, would you agree?
I think I wouldn't say I'd completely agree, because we've seen a bunch of them. Maybe, you know, he's an easygoing, quiet guy, you know, personality-wise maybe or something. But I get what you're trying to say. But it's still, I mean, 30. I mean, that's a lot of homers.
And I think also most years he'd be leading the team. But he's third.
Yeah, well, maybe, okay.
I mean, he has Aiden Robbins with 19, Carson Tinney with 17. This is ripped and fair down the left field line. Jamal George up with it as Larson makes his way to third, and Borba stands up at second with a double. Second and third, no outs for Texas here in the bottom of the third.
Well, it wasn't the home runs we were talking about, but you're going to look at this. This is a ball is smashed as he hooks it down the left field line. Elevated where he likes it, hooks it down the left field line. It's going to be a for sure double. Now, George has got to make a play here, and does. He makes a clean play, playing it off the wall on that little triangle out there. I've seen a lot of guys run past that would allow the runner to score, but he did a good job of playing it only to a double, not allowing the lead runner to get all the way to home.
So awfully good to see Darian Pendergrass back for Texas. His last game, April 19th, when he reached on an error but then left the game with a hamstring pull. Back for the first time and playing in center field today, a first pitch ball. He was really getting going too. Had some back issues when he arrived on campus, then got healthy. Played in the first game of that Alabama series, went 2 for 3 with a run scored. And then 2 days later had to leave. Back for the first time in almost a month. He's ahead in the count, 2-0.
Yeah, that's hard luck. And when you get injured, you can't replace those at-bats, those live at-bats. You can take BP, you can have your own pitchers throw some live BP to you, but it's just not the same as when you got the spikes in there in between those white lines and the value of it.
3-0 with Aiden Robbins on deck. This is the loudest this Disch Falk Field crowd has been today. Strike call.
Right at the top of the strike zone. Longhorn faithful didn't think that it was. They thought it was above it or inside.
Pop back and foul from 3-0. Now the count is full. McDevitt, a strikeout pitcher. 3 strikeouts today, 94 on the season. In an SEC play, 68 strikeouts and 53 1/3.
It's be interesting to see what he throws here. He gets a lot of strikeouts with that fastball. With the base open, but you got the top of the order coming up behind him.
Pendergrass stays alive.
I thought he went right back to his best pitch. A fastball up, top of the triangle. As a hitter now, you're trying to protect. You don't want to strike out, so your barrel's already moving forward a little bit. And while you just see elevated, you see heater, and you think, I got to get there. The last 5 feet of that fastball can make it hard.
Popped up, foul, out of play. And we talk about how Pendergrass came on to the Alabama series. His first game of the season was 3 days prior. He's 3 for 6 at the plate coming into today with 3 runs batted in.
Well, he's locked in a battle right now, just trying to get the ball in play. You got the middle of the infield back, so if you can roll a ball in the middle, you'll get a run in.
Shallow left center coming in. George makes the catch. Larson fakes the tag but holds at third.
With nobody out, you're probably not going to send him right there. The ball was shallow enough. There was a little bit of an angle that the outfielder had to position himself to catch and throw. But at that point, with nobody out, and guess what? You got the top of your order coming up. You don't want to run the risk of getting the runner at third, 90 feet away, thrown out.
Aiden Robbins, 6th in the nation with a .500 batting average with runners in scoring position. So before we see the first pitch to him, that's Drew Dickinson, Missouri's pitching coach, to talk to his hurler. Now, Ty, first base is open, 1 out. but you have Carson Tenney on deck. So what do you think the message here is on the mound?
I think it could be, if you get behind, they could be discussing walking him and with Tenney, but Tenney's only grounded into one double play all year long. So is that part of the discussion? And or if you get behind, don't give in. You've got the base open. Go to the edge of the plate. You know, maybe go to even a higher elevation on the fastball.
When we talk about the 500 batting average with runners in scoring position, that's not a small sample size, 23 of 46. And both Robbins and the man on deck, Tenney, the dynamic duo with those long balls. 19 for Robbins, Tenney 17. Perhaps we'll have the first season ever in Texas history with two 20-plus home run hitters. Two runners in scoring position, one out. Texas looking to get on the board for the first time. High and tight, 1-0. 11 of his 19 home runs are in conference play. Tied for the most in the SEC. That includes one last weekend in Knoxville. Two and out.
Well, this is that point now. He's gone change up first pitch, breaker second pitch. Now Robbins finds himself in what historically or normally would be a great hitter's count and a 2-0 count, an aggressive count. But keeping in mind that base open, we'll see what he decides to throw.
To left, George makes the grab, backpedaling, tagging from third is Larson. Texas ties it up. 1-1 in the third on the sacrifice fly from Aidan Robbins, his team leading 53rd run batted in this year.
Well, he does a good job of getting this breaker, getting to the bottom of it. He hits it hard out to left field. The line drive, but he recognized breaker in early enough. Was able to put a good swing on it.
Borba held up at second. But now with two down for Carson Tenney, who struck out looking his first time up. Just missed for a ball. 27 game on base streak for Tenney coming in. Mostly lately via the walk. But 4 walks and 4 runs scored in the Tennessee series last weekend. Went 1 for 10 last weekend. Jim Schlossnagle said that's just baseball. For the most of the year, Tenney's been one of their best hitters. 2-0 now the count.
That's over half the games that he's got no base. I mean, with that kind of streak with 27. I mean, if you get a look at it, the 41 walks, again, I find that incredibly impressive when you have power, because oftentimes your power guys have the high swing miss or they chase balls out of the zone. And his patience and, again, his ability to recognize the strike zone has made him, I think, a much more dangerous hitter. And he's scored a lot of runs because of that, being able to take those base home balls.
The 3-0 coming to the Texas catcher. In there for a strike.
It might have been one of those moments. He might have been green lighted with 2 outs, runner on second.
Anthony Pack Jr. on deck. Good take, ball 4. And that's to your example.
There it is, right there. No, 100%. And look, I get it. So you'll hear some people say, man, he needs to swing the bat more. He needs it. Look, a lot of power hitters are going to swing right through that and miss. Now they're in the 3-2 count and, maybe even an out. But to me, that is recognition of the team game of baseball and also recognition of the strike zone and his patience.
And Anthony Pack Jr., arguably the best freshman hitter in the game. 6th among Division I freshmen, with runners in scoring position and batting average and RBIs, top 10 also in hits and OPS. Coming in 388 in SEC play to lead Texas, even better than Robbins and Tenney. He flew out to center his first time up. at the plate with runners at first and second and 2 down.
He's got a higher free base average than he does strikeouts. That tells you the kind of hitter he is. He gets such a great long look at the baseball. And as a hitter, a young hitter, if you watch him, he uses a really early, slow pickup front foot, as he has that high leg kick, but he does it early, and it calms him down, it slows him down. He doesn't go after the baseball with his body. He sits back there. That's why you see him hit so many balls the other way.
2-1.
I mean, just the timing device. And now he's just patient with his body. He's not rushing. He's not sped up. He's not hurrying. For a young hitter, most young hitters go out after the baseball with their body. He just sits back there and sees it as long as he can.
Count now 3-1 with Ethan Mendoza on deck. Ooh, strike called. I think Pack thought he was about to go to first. But McDevitt gets the high strike call.
Yeah, we don't have TrackMan up here to see if it was or it wasn't. It looked like it was above the strike zone, like it crossed right up above the armpit area.
Now the payoff with 2 down. Foul back. Mention of the SEC how good Pack has done. Coming in 388, leading Texas in second in the league. That's among all players, not freshmen. 496 on base percentage leads the conference and tied for 5th in hits and stolen bases. Pack works the walk.
42nd free base versus 30 strikeouts. Historically, it's the other way around for most hitters, and even at a higher number of the strikeouts. And again, for a young hitter, I think that there's so many things to be impressed by him, but that is one of them.
Texas all season's been one of the best in the nation in pitches per at-bat. They make a pitcher work, make him go deep in counts. It's led to back-to-back walks to Tenney and Pack, and now Ethan Mendoza. 500 on base percentage, his previous 11 coming in. Now at the plate with the bases full. First pitch strike.
Well, you want to try to get him to throw 15 because then you start jumping that pitch count up. And then if you are patient like Texas is and you see this many pitches, you get a chance to get to the other team's bullpen quicker, and then you make the pitcher pitch with duress on him all the time. If you're willing to take a walk and having to pitch with runners on.
Foul the opposite way. Mendoza behind 0-2.
I mean, every pitcher will tell you it's great, and you got nobody on. You're pitching, out of the windup if you so choose, your rhythm, your timing. But all of a sudden, you put runners on there. Now you got to pay attention to the runners because Texas does a great job of running the bases. I think at 97, 98 stolen bases. And so just you pitching under a little more duress, and they're willing to take their walks and have long at-bats.
To the right side, Maisonet on to first, and that'll do it for Texas. In the bottom of the third, they tie the game on an Aiden Robbins sacrifice fly, but leave them loaded. And Missouri and Texas tied at 1 in Game 1 of the final regular season series of the year. Missouri and Texas as we head to the top of the 4th inning with Ty Harrington. I'm David Salzman. Dylan Volantis starting today for Texas. 7 strikeouts so far. And the Longhorn starter tomorrow, Luke Harrison, joins us. Luke, appreciate your time. 5th-year graduate from Friendswood, Texas, joining us here at Disch-Falk Field and getting their start tomorrow. When you see Dylan Volantis throw as he has, 7 strikeouts so far, what goes through your mind?
I just love watching him work, man. It really is a thing of beauty when he goes out there and he's just in command of all of his pitches, in complete control of himself. And those guys don't have a chance whenever he's doing his thing.
Luke, I got to ask a couple questions about. I don't think a lot of our viewers know exactly what it's like for a starting pitcher in between. All right, so you pitched, last Saturday or Friday, and I think you bumped up a day. But if you start to talk about what it looks like and feels like your bullpen, tell us what that's like for you. How many pitches? What's the focus? What is that? Is it scripted out? Tell everybody what that's like.
Yeah, our between start work is, it changes week to week, kind of based on workload and how you're feeling. But normally it's 15 to 20 pitches. You want to try to get as close to game speed as possible, just to get your body going, get your arm feeling that right. But I think we do a great job of kind of adjusting that based on what each guy needs. In my 5 years of college baseball, I've never been on a team that had the same 3 weekend starters for an entire season, and we're setting up to do that this weekend, which is really cool.
1-2 the count to Mateo Serna. Again, you're starting tomorrow, and this isn't your first rodeo. I mean, you just said your 5th year in college. I know all the focus is on Missouri this week, but we're in mid-May, conference tournament next week. I mean, is there maybe a little bit of a different feeling around the team knowing the postseason's around the corner?
Oh, it feels like postseason right now. I think that's been expressed a lot to us. Is this is where we got to find a way to play our best baseball, and this is where good teams start to get going.
That's 8 strikeouts now for Volantis. Serna goes down looking. There's 1 down in the 4th.
Get another look right here at Volantis on that fastball another inline fastball. Second one of the night. He's been able to lock up some of those right-handed hitters. Luke, this time of year, you're out of school. It's just baseball, right? I mean, it's got to be. I see the smile on your face. I know what that smile looks like. It represents, but it's just baseball now, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you gotta love this time of year. Not many college sports get to do what we get to do, where we're just playing our game, and we get to show up to the field every day and find a way to get better.
You're pursuing your master's in sports management, right? Are
Yes,
you done, or do you have a little time left?
I got a few more hours left to take. Probably knock it out in the next year.
Well, I know that professional baseball's in your future. You could have done that after last season. And I remember before the year began, you were asked why come back to Texas, and you said, these are your words, you said, this place has given so much to us, and we have more to give to this place. So knowing it is your last year here, just how has that been, maybe even compared to your previous seasons here in Austin?
Yeah, I mean, it's been special, just knowing going in that, this is going to be the last season that I'll get to wear Texas across my chest. And, it's a great honor, and we got to go out there and make sure we're doing that every day, make sure we're earning it every day.
Tema Becerra playing at second base today, on to first, and Larson, there's 2 down in the 4th.
Luke, reflect a little bit, because you got here, you have an injury, and here you are today sitting on a headset getting ready to start with a ton of innings and a ton of starts, and you look up into the crowds, a ton of people are going to recognize and always remember you and your efforts here at Texas. So take us through your path and what that was like from back when you hurt to where you are today.
Yeah, I feel like it's just been a great journey for me of, having some success early and then having an injury and, having to deal with some adversity. I feel like it's just made me more resilient, and, every step of the way, the ups and the downs have kind of led me to where I am. And, I got to be grateful for all the people that have helped me through the journey here at Texas, and, my family, obviously, who supports me through everything.
Caden Pierre at the plate in a 1-1 count. You'll have more starts here. Texas sure to host a regional and maybe a super also if you can get that far. But tomorrow is your last regular season start here in Austin. So maybe a little more emotional on your side?
Yeah, I think it's definitely special, but, just excited to go out there and compete. Not too worried about that.
Really appreciate your time. Good luck on the mound tomorrow.
All right, thanks, y'all. Hook 'em.
Luke Harrison watches Dylan Volantis with a 1-2-3 4th.
I cannot help my fixation.
The real fun just getting started.
Run straight for the breakaway.
The celebration is on.
We say every year, how fast does the time fly? It's in under a month we'll be watching college baseball in Omaha. And can Texas get there? According to D1 Baseball, Texas is the number 6 national seed. Of course, top 8 guaranteed to host a super regional if they can get by their regional opponents. And right now, that's some familiarity. Texas, Boston College, Texas State. When you were head coach of the Bobcats, those were the top 3 seeds here back in the day. And Texas matched up with the Tallahassee regional with Florida State, the number 11 national seed.
I think what would be fun is when they start doing the projections is to keep them in a room, post them on, the first time they do it, and then just keep, and then see how they really fall. When you get down to the end of it, and who goes where, what seed, who's the number one seed. I think that these projections are based on fun, and also, but the ranking part of it is real, right? So you can start to place them. I know this year the NCAA, the selection committee's ranking each team 1 through 64. So you're going to be labeled that number, similar to what they did in softball this year as well, and then put into quadrants. And so it's the same thing. It's a little bit different because I think there would be some geographic quadrants maybe tossed into it as well.
The 1 and 2 seeds are based on seed. And so Boston College at number 25 comes to Texas as the 6th. Now, sometimes they have to change it around. You can't have the same conference be represented by seeds 1 and 2. Then Team 3 can be geographic. It's a big reason why Texas State is there. So new pitcher for Missouri, and Dane Bjorn. First pitch to Adrian Rodriguez is high for a ball. Freshman from St. Louis, Missouri, has the best ERA on the Missouri staff at 3.29. No record. This is his 11th appearance of the year, 10th out of the pen. See the 15 strikeouts and 13 in 2/3. So Josh McDevitt goes 53 pitches in his 3 innings of work. And we asked those close to the Missouri program, any big reason why he's been taken out after 3 innings. He's healthy. The thought is they start the conference tournament on Tuesday. They obviously have to go on an amazing run.
That's
and
their
so
path.
Probably saving McDevitt for that.
That's their path, right? That's what they got to do. That's their guy. They get a short turnaround, quick turnaround for them. They know that's their best option to make their only option, to make a regional, and their best way to do it is to put their best guy out there, game 1, and then try to stay out, obviously alive in it because it's single elimination, so you got to put your best foot forward.
And even if winning 5 games in 5 days, hard for anybody. But even if they can have a good showing in Hoover, that only helps the future of your program, recruiting, and why not save your ace for that? Rodriguez singled his first time up against McDevitt, was caught stealing. Now a 2-2 count. A lot of scoreboard watching too for multiple reasons. Again, Texas wanting to get a top 4 spot in the SEC tournament next week, which guarantees a double bye. We know Georgia has won the regular season crown already. They're 4 losses ahead of everyone. Texas and Texas A&M come in 16-10 in the league, and Texas A&M trails 14-4 to Mississippi State in the 4th. Obviously helps Texas as far as the standings is concerned if they can win here. They score their run in the 3rd on an Aiden Robbins sac fly. Payoff coming to Adrian Rodriguez, and he works the walk. So top 4 after competition is done Saturday in the SEC gets a double bye. Teams 5 through 8 get a single bye. And right now, again, Texas A&M at 16-10. Now they're a half game ahead of Alabama and Auburn, but Texas won the series against both those teams. So if they win 2 of 3 this weekend, Jim Schlossnagle's squad guaranteed a top 4 spot.
And that's huge. As far as one, it's important because of the what it does for you winning and hosting and super regionals and all the that path, but then also the double bye giving you some time to get your team a little bit of break, a little bit of rest, but get there and get around the tournament and watch it. Let you guys enjoy. I mean, look, for baseball, college baseball players, we all grew up going to tournaments, watching the other teams play all the time, right? The other guys that were in the tournament, and you go out there, it's like going to the movie. You get to go watch baseball. This is what you do, and get, and I got to think it'd be a blast for them. They got places to work out. They got an opportunity to watch the other teams.
Dribbler off the bat of Becerra. Bjorn has to hurry, and it's a nice scoop by Wojda over at first. Rodriguez now in scoring position, but there's one down.
Bjorn goes over to his right to field this ball. Now, when you're a left-handed pitcher, you got to make a full turn. And he took a little time getting his body unwound, but once he did, he fired about a 90-mile-an-hour fastball over to the first baseman, Wojda.
So now Ashton Larson got the third started with a single and would score on that Robbins sac fly. Larson getting the start at first today. Foul back. Infield defense changing for Texas with Ethan Mendoza expected to be in the DH spot all series long. Becerra at second and Casey Barba at third. He was on deck. 6:30 first pitch Central Time tomorrow. 2 o'clock Saturday in the regular season finale. 1-1 the count to Larson. We talk about Ty, who quietly has had solid years. Larson coming in before that single. Well, his average now is up to 270 with the single. His on-base percentage is hovering around 450. He's walked 26 times this year. Count 1-2 now.
Yeah, he fits into their plan of what their offensive plan. I mean by that, and he's willing to sit in there and and find pitches that he can discover or sees that, and patient and recognition, and Coach Schlossnagle and Coach Tulowitzki, that's their plan. They ask you to do it, and if you want to be in the lineup on a regular basis, that's going to be how part of it's evaluated.
Valuable left-handed bat as well. 2 seasons ago named to the All-SEC freshman team while at LSU, and he led the Tigers with a .337 batting average in SEC play. Spin back, but Rodriguez easily back. In fact, I think that hit him. He's all right as we await the 2-2 pitch to Larson. Speaking of LSU, I still do double takes when I see they are 9-18 in the SEC this year, and they're down to Florida as we speak, 6-3 in the series opener.
You win the national title, you're going to lose great players.
Yeah.
The draft, you win a lot of titles with older players that can involve seniors. I think that's part of it. So your immediate response is, let's go to the portal. And sometimes if you go to the portal, you may not get what you thought you were getting.
The opposite way, tailing foul, and will be foul into the seats.
I think another piece of that, when you go at a place like LSU and a lot of the SEC schools, when you bring guys in the portal, they've never really experienced that kind of expectation daily. And then all of a sudden there's a little bit of failure curve in there that a lot of hitters get, a lot of new players get anyway. And then you throw the expectations on there. You throw your defending national champion. I think there's a lot to that emotionally.
Oh, nice snag by Bjorn. Over to first in time. Rodriguez moves over to third, but what instincts by the Missouri pitcher. So, again, around the SEC, Georgia's already clinched the SEC regular season crown, their first since 2008. That season, they made it all the way to the championship series, lost a 4-seed Fresno State. And then Auburn and Arkansas, watch out for the Razorbacks, 3 straight SEC series wins, and Auburn 6 straight wins. They're hosting Georgia as we speak. We talked about LSU. Not going to make a regional unless they win it all in Hoover next week, and maybe the same goes for Vanderbilt. 19 consecutive regional appearances in danger. They are 29-24 overall, the Commodores, 11-16 in the SEC.
Those bottom 2 teams that you were just talking about, Vanderbilt and LSU, everybody's so used to them right now positioning themselves to host a regional. And if they're not hosting it, then they're going to be a 2 seed somewhere, and it's just uncommon ground for both of those programs who are, baseball blue bloods and guys that have just been involved with national championships. Not just good programs, by the way, national champions. That's last guy standing, and that's different than a lot of other programs who are good programs too. But when you start throwing up, national titles on your wall, that makes you different.
1-1 the count to Borba, who doubled his first time up, but was left on third. Texas left him low to last inning. A swing and a miss as Bjorn took something off. 1-2 with Adrian Rodriguez at third base.
Back-to-back changeups. That's a good-looking changeup. He does a good job, Bjorn does, of attacking it. And for a hitter, it's hard to pick up if you don't see any kind of broken spin, and it looks like it's coming out of his hand as a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. It gets to be hard. I'm probably about to see another one.
Barba takes 2-2. I think to your point before also, there's always going to be teams that disappoint relative to expectations. You know, we're not talking about Louisville, who was top 10 to begin the year, and they're going to probably have to win the ACC tournament to make the postseason. Clemson, but when it's LSU, obviously it's going to get more attention. Defending champs, well below expectations in 2026. Let's see what they'll do next week in the conference tournament. They will play the first day on Tuesday.
It happens.
Yep.
It happens. Again, you win national titles, you're going to lose a reason why you won those national champion, and that's the personnel and the players.
The full count offering coming to Borba. Swung on and just top foul.
Yeah, he went back to that changeup again. Borba this time able to foul it off with 2 strikes, shortened the swing down enough and caught just a little bit of it to stay in the at-bat.
3 home runs last weekend at Tennessee, 2 in the Texas 13-6 victory Sunday. Works the walk. Second walk allowed by Bjorn this inning. Runners are on the corners for Pendergrass.
It's a good experienced at bat. 2 swing misses at changeups. Fought his way back into the count. Fouled the off-speed pitch, the pitch before that, ball 4, stay in the at bat, and now has earned a walk. And now Texas, you know, in the 9 hole, you got a left-left matchup with Pendergrass, but you also have runners first, third, with an opportunity if you want to try to run a double steal play.
Pendergrass worked the count full, but flew out to left his last time up, last inning. Borba, a big jump. There's going to be no throw to second. His jump came before Bjorn delivered the pitch. Second and third now.
Now that was going to be an uncontested steal anyway. I think they have either a fake and go to third or hold the ball at the pitcher. I mean, at the catching position. Either way, they know that Rodriguez is a good runner. And you know, now if you're Missouri, your first baseman's back off, so you can cover up, you know, that first base position on ground balls or line drives hit that way instead of holding the runner on. The flip side of that is for Texas, if you do come up with a hit, it possibly is a 2-run single.
Pendergrass, CAA honorable mention last season at the College of Charleston, stole 43 bases, scored 65 runs. Dribbler, and Bjorn's going to get all 3 assists this inning. On to first in time. Texas has left 5 on base the last 2 innings. Missouri and Texas still tied at 1, now through 4.
I cannot help my fixation.
Best conference tournament in all of college baseball.
Run straight for the breakaway.
Let's get to Hoover.
It begins on Tuesday, the SEC tournament again in Hoover, Alabama. This is the bracket, single elimination. Teams 9 through 16 do not get a bye, have to win 5 games in 5 days. Missouri right now the 16 seed. If you look to the right of the screen, there's Texas right now as the 3 seed. Again, top 4 get a double bye into the quarterfinals. Teams 5 through 8 get single byes. Look at Auburn, 5th. Their RPI, by the way, is 2. They're no doubt a national seed, top 8 if the regionals were to start today, and yet Auburn's fighting for a double bye come next week, Ty.
They are. It fascinates me when you think about a conference tournament and how they have this set up now, and how big of an advantage if you can, you know, buy into that second round, but really into that third round if you double bye, as you referred to it, and how that sets your pitching up.
Right, because a double bye means those teams don't play until Thursday, 1 week from today. You have to win 3 games in 3 days, and so Texas could go Valanis, Harrison, Riojas if they get that far.
Yeah, and you can limit because you know the regional starting that next Friday.
Off the bat of Chris Patterson, nice scoop by Borba on to first. He's made 2 nice defensive plays. so far today, including to end the fourth off the bat of Pierre. There's one down here in the fifth now.
Yeah, this is a really good play. He makes this look easy. It was going to be an in-between hop. And he is an accomplished third baseman, and he moved over to first, and he's becoming an elite defender at first base, but he had to reach up with his glove just a little bit to make sure he got the short hop, not the in-between hop. Made it look easy, then a nice throw over to first base.
Now Eric Maisonet, who struck out his first time up. 8 strikeouts overall so far for Volantes. And you make a good point. Obviously, you love to win it all next week, but it's thought around here, I think, if Texas wins this series, we know they get the double bye next week. And it's thought maybe that top 8 national seed is pretty much locked up. A sweep, and indefinitely so. And so if that's the case, how long will the Texas starters go, depending on how far?
Yeah, not very.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all about positioning. The ball got him.
Maisonet will head to first.
Another look at this, David. It looked like it got him on the wrist or the top of the hand. That two-seam fastball kept running back into him. He was unloading a lot of gear there, and I think it missed all of it and ended up hitting him. It appeared maybe right there on the top of the hand, and that's a painful area to get hit.
Just the 4th time Dylan Volantes has hit a batter this year. That pitch gets away, and Maisonet will head to second. Something you don't see often from Volantes. A little loss of control here. The hit batter and then the wild pitch. Missouri has a runner in scoring position. George flew out to center his first time out. Jace Woida on deck. Got the scoring started with a solo shot. That's a strike, 1-1.
This can be an important at bat for Missouri. Down in the 9 hole right now at the top of the order. Woida coming up behind you. Somehow you navigate a way to get on base, a base hit, score the runner from second, and get on base yourself. But either way, that 9 hole position, somehow, some way you get past the bat to the top of the order.
That will roll foul. Count still 1-2.
Those swings right there, if you're on the pitching side of that as a coach, you feel your stomach just jump into knots in a matter of seconds, because you know there's nobody getting to that ball if it stays fair. It's a tapper off. It's a great pitch. The hitter hits it off the end of his bat, top spins it. Nobody's going to be able to get there in time. That's how crazy this game can be.
Jim Schlossnagle saw Texas Sunday become the first ever college baseball program to reach 1,500 conference wins in its history. Got him. Strikeout number 9, 2 down. Woida got the scoring started awfully quickly to begin the game tie.
Oh, he did. He hung a breaker. And Woida didn't miss it, man. I mean, he unloads on this ball to get it started for Missouri. And ever since, Volantes, the majority of his outs have been strikeouts, settled back in. He's been able to make pitches like that with that breaker.
Just 4 Missouri base runners, including Maisonet, who was hit by a pitch earlier this inning. After the homer, a single in the second, walk in the third, and the hit batter here in the 5th, allowed by the sophomore. 1-1 now the count. That was his 12th home run of the year earlier. You see 46 RBIs this season, 20 all of last year at South Carolina. trying to drive in Meisenet from second to put Missouri on top again. Volantis perhaps one strike away from strikeout number 10. Appeal to third, and he did go around, says Randy Rosenberg. 10 strikeouts through 5 for Dylan Volantis.
It's just a hard pitch to hit. You're up there with 2 strikes. You're already anxious trying to protect. Watch how high that breaker starts and where it ends. It's tough on a right-handed hitter to make contact, and it's tough on a left-handed hitter as well.
Game 2 of the top 5 series between Georgia and Auburn coming up tomorrow. Also tomorrow here in Austin, Texas and Missouri will play game 2 of their 3-game set. Here's Georgia and Auburn. That is at 8 o'clock Eastern on SEC Network. Georgia ranked number 4 in the nation. Auburn ranked number 5 and number 2 in the RPI. Again, that's 8 o'clock Eastern on the SEC Network and the ESPN app tomorrow. Right now, Auburn leads Georgia in game 1 of that 3-game series, 1-0 top of the 4th. Mississippi State and College Station now leads Texas A&M 17-4 in the 5th. A little more of a pitcher's duel here so far at UFCU Disch-Falk Field, 1-1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. With Ty Harrington, I'm David Salzman. Aiden Robbins, responsible for the Texas run with a sac fly in the 3rd, leads things off. In the SEC, those 70 hits on the year, 7th in the conference. 19 home runs, 3rd in the league, 18th in the nation. Top 6 in RBI, slugging percentage, OPS, and a .355 batting average. Count 1-1.
Probably the most highly touted, one of the more highly touted portal players coming out of last year, Aiden Robbins. For what everybody thought he was going to possibly be, I think he's been and then some. And really, when you start talking about the power, I know everybody knew he had power. He had bat speed. He was a good athlete, intuitive player, brought his game every day, was his reputation. But, you know, a lot of times portal guys haven't been what your expectations might, or the media leads you to believe they might be. That's fair, too, but Robbins has been for Texas.
Just the 1 year here at Texas, but Jim Schlossnagle calls him one of the best right-handed hitters I've ever coached. And he has coached plenty.
Well, as a right-handed hitter, you got to be able to hit breakers running away from you and not chase them out of the zone and hit them on a consistent basis. And he's done that. I mean, he uses the whole field.
And he's on for the first time today with the walk.
He's willing to do that. He'll take his walks. He'll have long at-bats, which is what they like. But, you know, he goes foul pole to foul pole. I mean, you can do that as a hitter, and you can handle every pitch and every quadrant of the plate.
3rd walk allowed by Bjorn. This is Dane Bjorn's 2nd inning of work. Josh McDevitt got the start for Missouri, allowing the 1 run in 3 innings through 53 pitches, and now being saved for the conference tournament opener on Tuesday. Carson Tinney walked and was left on base in the 3rd. Strike call. 5 left on by Texas so far today, and all in the last 2 innings.
And they had a couple chances with 2 outs to bust the game up a little bit, and obviously then at least put them ahead. They weren't able to come up with those big hits. Missouri doing a good job of pitching out of it too.
Lined in by a diving Darnan into left center field. Robbins trying to make his way to third. The throw is off target, and on the throw, Tenney slides into second. 2 runners in scoring position for the Longhorns with nobody out.
Well, first of all, Robbins had to make sure the line drive got through. Shortstop dives for it. Darnan dives for it, so he had to freeze. As it was, watch this right, he had to dive. It gets past him. At that point, Robbins turns it on and realizes the ball was in between left field and the center field. You see the dive right there, had to make it clear, then decides to go to third. And in the meantime, on that spin move throw to third, Carson Tenney alertly reads the throw and sees that it's going to be elevated over the relay guy's head and finds his way to second base.
Third straight inning, Texas has had a runner on third. Anthony Pack Jr. takes a first pitch ball. In SEC play, with runners in scoring position, 423. That is 7th in the league. A freshman with numbers that don't represent how young he is. And that's been from the beginning of the year, too. Hit the opposite way. Tailing foul. George is on the run, and it'll drop in front of him. Nice effort by the Missouri left fielder. Count is 1-1.
A guy that coached him in summer ball, Coach Murphy out at Mater Dei. I know him because he's a Texas guy, even though he's out on the West Coast coaching. Would not. It just went on and on one night about not just how great a player he is, but how unbelievable of a person he is, and the family, everything. And his approach at the plate is so beyond mature for a guy his age.
Couldn't hold up. 1-2. Jim Schlossnagle has said when he walks into the building, it's just a different look, and that your stars normally carry yourself in that type of way. Even as a freshman, confident and mature, Jim Schlossnagle adds, in terms of who he is unfazed regardless of the situation. Behind here, 1-2 with nobody out. Takes his pitch from Bjorn, and it's 2-2 now. He would lead the team in most categories if not for Aiden Robbins. Robbins at third, Tenney at second.
There's a lot of guys that have played in this program that were freshman hitters. Okay, and there was a bunch of them that had a lot of great years, but this guy's going to stack himself up at the top of some of the best hitters as freshmen that have played here.
Pack a great freshman year. Same for Blaze Ward of Missouri. 5th in batting average in SEC play entering tonight. Again, tailing foul, and this will go out of play.
This is one of those moments, too, where for Texas, they'd like to see him because he doesn't strike out much. Somehow find a way to get the runner in from third base at least, either fly ball. You got the infield back in the middle. Every once in a while, you just, get the ball in play. You got an opportunity to get that run in, and then every once in a while, if you get it to the right side, not only get the run in, but move the guy from second to third if you don't come up with a hit.
Called strike 3. A key first out for Bjorn in Missouri, 1 down.
Yeah, that's a big out. Anthony Pack doesn't strike out very often. He might have surprised him looking breaker, and he threw a fastball, caught enough at the plate. Once in a while as a hitter, you just get fooled, and Bjorn was able to make the pitch, knowing he might have been looking for a breaker or a changeup, something secondary.
First strikeout for Bjorn in 1 1/3. Now Ethan Mendoza, who's 0 for 2. This hit well, right center field. On to make the catch is Jordan, just shy of the track. Robbins will come in to score. Tenney to third. Both of Texas's runs off the sac fly tonight, and it's 2-1.
He Ethan Mendoza gets the ball out over the plate, gets to the bottom of it. A little streak. When he first hit it, I thought I had a chance to maybe get a little bit deeper into the gap. As he drives this ball out into right field. Does a good job of getting to it, making the catch. It's important to get that run in from third base. They've each time, as you mentioned, sac flies have scored the 2 runs for Texas so far tonight.
6th sac fly for Mendoza to lead the team. And now a chance for Adrian Rodriguez to increase the lead with Tinney on third, but now with 2 down. Strike call. Rodriguez has reached base both times he's been up. Walked to lead off last inning against Bjorn, was left on third, single in the second, and was caught stealing. His 3-run home run in the first Sunday got the scoring started in the 13-6 Texas win at Tennessee. And he has hits in 5 of his last 6 SEC games, including tonight.
He's got power in that barrel. You know, if you watch enough Texas games, you go back to last year and you look up his numbers. I think the hand injury hindered that, obviously. I think that the further he gets away from that, I think you'll see his power numbers start to climb up.
3-1. He's hit a homer in each of the previous 3 SEC series, his only home runs of the year. And despite the hand injury, he has 29 RBIs this season, which is a career high. Oh, got out of the way. Another walk, his 2nd straight, and it's runners on the corners with 2 down.
Looked like a breaker just popped out of his hand early. A-Rod. His teammates referred to him, and the fans here in Austin referred to him, got out of the way. Now you've got that same scenario set up 1st and 3rd as Texas again early steal or put some type of trick double steal on to try to help get that runner in from third base. And if they don't make a play on him, obviously now you got 2 runners in scoring position.
Tema Becerra 0 for 2 tonight after going 8 for 11 in the Tennessee series. Previous 6 games coming in, 2 hits or more in each of them. Foul back, and the count is 1-1.
They had a good swing at that ball. He fouled it right back. He was on time with it. Just got underneath it just a little bit.
Multi-hit game, 6 straight coming in, and during that stretch, 615. 8 runs batted in, 1540 OPS, but looking to get on base for the first time. Takes that for a strike, 1-2. A run in the 3rd and 1 here in the 5th as Texas leads for the first time, looking for more. Rodriguez going, called strike 3. Becerra strikes out looking for the 2nd time. And while the Longhorns take the lead, they leave 2 on. Ethan Mendoza's sac fly has Texas on top. As for Dylan Volantis in 4 of his last 5 starts.
I mean, it's such a wicked breaker, and it does so many different things. He's got so many different ways to get you. Just see 2 inline fastballs too that break. I mean, it just start talking about adding up the strikeouts. I mean, you get to 100, what that represents for any college pitcher. And he's been at it all year long.
He already was having a great year as the Game 3 starter, then moved to Game 1 just over a month ago. And you see 12 strikeouts against Alabama, 11 against Vanderbilt, 12 against Mississippi State, 10 tonight. When you allow 3 runs in 5 innings like he did last week, it looks like a bad start, although it was not against the red-hot Tennessee squad, at least offensively. But he has righted any of that ship he's had to tonight with a 10 strikeout performance so far. And just through 5 innings. Kevin Durnan leads off the 6th, and the count is 2-2. Cam Durnan, rather, apologies. The sophomore, or the shortstop, rather, is 0 for 1 with a walk.
You know, he doesn't throw a ton of fastballs. You just saw one right there. I mean, it is a breaker-heavy, you know, approach, whether it's a slider, the big curveball. And in order to do that, you have to be able to land those big breakers for strikes. It's not the same thing as landing your fastball. You've been throwing your fastball since you were 1, you know, and no pun intended. And you know, being able to throw it for strikes. You know, you throw it every day. You throw a 4-seamer, a 2-seamer every day. You play catch with it. But then he lands so many of those sliders that entices you and disguises that big breaker like that.
Strikeout number 11. 1 down in the 6th.
That ball comes out high, starts off the plate, and just comes roaring back. Catches the outer part of the plate for a strike. That's hard for a hitter to defend all that.
Announced not long ago, Golden Spikes Award semifinalist Aiden Robbins as well. Off the bat of Ward, Rodriguez to first, 2 down.
Not an easy play. It's not. I mean, he sits on it. We get a look at this, David. Ball's hit pretty decent out towards A-Rod out at shortstop, ranges over, sits on it, gets back to his feet, off his back foot, and makes a strong, accurate throw over to first base.
Dylan Valentis has not allowed a hit since a leadoff single in the 2nd. 2 runners, or 2 batters rather, have reached base since. Mateo Serna struck out both times he's been at the plate against Valentis. First pitch strike.
That's that part I was talking about, Tenney getting that left thumb underneath and catching that ball and keeping that ball in the strike zone and securing that umpire's thought about making that a strike.
Now 1-1. Was pitch framing, how much, let's say 10, 15 years ago, was that stressed versus nowadays where, of course, analytics has taken up so much of how you view the game?
It's different. Catchers are better at it. You know, they've gotten down into a different position where they can get underneath the ball better now with the one leg or the one knee catching. You see how low he is. He drops his glove, and then when he drops it, the pitch is already coming. He's able to start from underneath the ball going up to it, and that allows him to pull those pitches in because your hand is moving. But you got to be really skilled at this. It's not an easy because you're moving when that ball's coming in with your glove. You watch Carson Tenney talking to him too. They're communicating about where they want this pitch.
Here comes the 1-2.
That's what he was trying to tell him. He doesn't throw a whole lot of elevated fastballs to try to get strikeouts. You can see him, he stuck his finger up, telling him to go up with it.
Trying to
That's
frame the
what we're
pitch.
talking about.
Frame the pitch well, but Jeff Wright says ball 3.
Just off the plate, but he makes it. That ball, it's a ball, right? It's a ball, but he makes that thing look like a strike because he can get underneath it. The body flexibility, the eye-hand coordination, and getting that underneath that ball to catch it.
Fouled off. Count still full.
I think people spend a ton of time talking about, rightfully so, and I'm about to say Carson Tenney is a hitter. They should, because he is that. He's a power, he takes walks, he's I think he's a really mature hitter, but I've been impressed this year with his ability to catch the baseball, work with the pitchers, block, do everything you've got to do back there for a big physical, young person too.
To right, Robbins now angling himself towards the line and makes the grab for the final out. A 1-2-3-6 for Dylan Volantis. Texas still up 2-1.
Omaha, Nebraska, the epicenter of college baseball. Teams holding their breath for a chance to dogpile in America's heartland. It's the NCAA Baseball Selection Show with watch parties all over the country. Let the road to Omaha begin.
Conference tournaments next week, and then Memorial Day we will know the 64 teams who will look to go to Omaha. So I know we're early, but Ty, you and I picked who we think will go to Omaha, and most of the teams we agree on: Auburn, Georgia, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Texas, and Texas A&M. You have Mississippi State and UCLA. I have West Virginia, who's been hot out of the Big 12, and Oregon. I realize I have not listed UCLA here. So I hope Bruins fans have the volume up so they can hear this, so I can add context. I am very likely wrong. They're 46-5. They only have one loss in Big Ten play. But my question about UCLA, they're the best team in the country. There's no question based on what they've done so far. But they haven't felt any pressure this season. I'm just curious, because it's going to happen always. Ashton Larson gets plunked. And holding his hand, Jim Schlossnagle is going to make sure he's okay to stay in the game. But again, I'm just curious how the pressure might affect UCLA, let's say in a super regional.
Now look, they didn't play the same conference tension that you're referring to that they do in the SEC, and I'm not going to argue with you on that. But I saw UCLA early in the year in Arlington at a tournament, and they played defense at a level elite that I hadn't seen from too many teams like that. And they were able to relieve late in the games, and they played in one of the best games I saw between them and Mississippi State early in the year. So I have a little more personal thought about them because I did see them, and John Savage is one of the best coaches in the country too.
No doubt. They are number one for a reason.
Well, I'm going to call John and tell him you didn't put him in your top 8.
John's going to say, who's this guy you're talking about? He has no idea. But, you remember Tennessee, a couple of years ago? By far best team. But all of a sudden, pressure built in Knoxville. They didn't even make it to Omaha. It's happened. Likely won't. Likely we'll see UCLA in Omaha. But just that one question about it.
Okay, and a lot of people, or you don't have Oregon State in there. Neither of us did. Oregon State lost their number 1 pitcher. Yep. And that's got to weigh in. We both put A&M in, but now they're holding out one of their better pitchers this weekend. What is his health really like? And right now I get 17-7, as you mentioned, in the 6th inning in College Station. But I think A&M's offense gives them that chance that they could be one of those top 8 teams. Whether the pitching is healthy enough to hold up, time will tell.
1-2 to Casey Borba. Foul back. But again, we agree on most of the teams. I had Oregon in there because I thought if UCLA isn't going to make it, I got to pick a 16 seed, and they are D1 baseball's 16 seed right now. So congrats to the Ducks, although it means nothing.
There's a lot to getting to Omaha. A lot of programs take it for granted because they go the expectations are, and they've been so many times. But it's a challenge to get there. And things have got to go your way. It helps, which is what everybody's doing this weekend, trying to position themselves to ensure that they're going to be a top 8 seed. It helps if you get to play at home. Doesn't mean you can't go somewhere and find ways to win. But it is helpful if you can stay in your own confines, because go look at what people's records are when they play at home as opposed to on the road.
Throw on to first. Jim Schlossnagle even said earlier today, about 75% or so of team, if they're hosting a regional or a super, win it. And for this Texas team looking to get a top 8 seed, Number 4 in the RPI, number 5 in DSR, which is the newer, more predictive metric, number 6 in strength of schedule. This is hit high and will foul. Still 1-2 to Borba.
Well, explain that, the new metrics. Explain that, because people, I mean, it's more of a predictive outcome,
it's more
right?
predictive, so it just takes more things into account than just, say, the RPI, which looks at wins, losses, whether you were home or on the road, and against which quality a team you beat. With predictive metrics in general, you're taking into account margin of victory and other data that the metrics that just take results into account don't. That ball is carrying and gone. Jamal George was looking up at it, and it just kept sailing, and in the end, over the left center field wall for Casey Borba's 16th homer of the year.
There he is again. I tell you, there have been times people go, Casey Borba's got to get hot for Texas, and he has just been that, coming up with another home run as he did last weekend with 3. But this ball was a moonshot, and the left fielder, I think, lost it. And if you were watching the left fielder, you thought, well, maybe he's going to catch it, and it just kept drifting, and then left the ballpark.
This place was absolutely quiet until all of a sudden the ball went over the wall for the home run, and then erupted. Borba remains red hot. Darian Pendergrass the bunt, and Bjorn on to first in time for the out. But some key insurance here to give Texas a 4-1 lead.
I thought when he hit it, it had a chance to get out, and then I looked over at the left fielder, and he was, just backing up a little bit, looking up like he was going to catch it, and I was a little bit surprised. You could see him looking for it. And he found it on the other side of the fence, as we all did.
368 feet, just enough. Borba's 4th home run in his last 3 games. Now top of the order, and Aiden Robbins, who walked and scored in the 5th. A key series for Texas in hopes of not just getting a double bye in next week's conference tournament, but more importantly, that top 8 national seed in the NCAA tournament, which will guarantee them a super regional spot at home if they are to get through regional play.
Yeah, and I think that's 150 plus runs that Texas has scored off of home runs this year too, or right at it.
And James Losnickel told us earlier today that the hitting has been much improved from last year, not just with that power, but more stolen bases, fewer strikeouts too. Even before the season began, he said, I want to see my team strike out 100 times less. And if you look at strikeouts per game, and then you project Texas's season this year to be as many games as last year, it's not 100, but it is close.
Okay, you can say something like, we're not going to strike out as much next year, but what plan do you, and they put a plan in place to not, and their players have reacted to it. The mature hitters have. They bought into what they're trying to do. They're confident enough to go deep into counts, to try to see as many pitches. I mean, there's an old saying in baseball, the more pitches you see in the batter's box makes you, ready to hit it, because you see it more often. If you're getting up there swinging at the first thing that comes around, your odds of being able to hit it, successfully are minimal.
Robbins strikes out. There's 2 down here in the 6th. So here's an example. They're not a Georgia or Texas A&M, but they are awfully good. 4th in runs per game in the SEC, 3rd in on-base percentage, 5th in OPS, and then again you add those stolen bases, 3rd in the league, which has helped generate more runs this year than last.
Well, if you're 413 with your own base percentage, the other team's pitcher is pitching under duress a lot, and that means with runners around him or runners behind him on bases, and it changes how he's able to pitch.
Tenney's reached base twice, including a single in the 5th. 28 straight games he has reached base. He's behind in the count 0-2. Jim Schlossnagle saw his team get down after the game's first at bat. Jace Woida solo shot to right. Since then, Dylan Volantis has been masterful, and the Texas bats have done the job, especially this inning with Borba's bomb. Jordan drops the ball out of his glove. Tinney will make his way to second. Instead of the inning being over, Texas has a runner in scoring position.
Well, he hits this ball pretty good down the right field side. It's using the whole field right here. Change up away, stays with it. As you can see Jordan running after it. Has to go a long ways, out away from him, but unable to secure it into his glove.
An E9 for Jordan, who started his college career here, redshirted before transferring to Missouri. And so the inning stays alive for Anthony Pack Jr., who's 0 for 2 with a walk. To center, base hit. Tinney rounds third, he'll score, and then the throw gets away from the Missouri infield. That allows Pack to move over to second. It's 5-1 as Texas makes Missouri pay for the year.
Anthony Pack does, I mean, he's got that, you can get me once, maybe twice, but I'm gonna eventually get you. Watch him sit back on that with that high leg kick, stays back, sees it deep enough, see elevation, drives it right back up the middle with a line drive base hit, taking advantage of the play in right field. And as you mentioned, the relay throw getting away, allowing him to Pack to get to second base.
42nd RBI now for Anthony Pack Jr. with runners in scoring position, 6th among freshmen in the nation, top 10 in 4 offensive categories, including a 12-17 OPS with runners in scoring position. Kerrick Jackson is out to the mound, and that usually means a pitching change for the Tigers, and we will see one. Texas took the lead in the 5th, and with some key insurance here in the 6th, a 2-run bore bomb by Casey Borba, and then the RBI single by Anthony Pack Jr., giving the Longhorns a 5-1 lead with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Texas looking for win number 38 on the season. th home run of the season earlier this inning. Not bad for a guy in the 8th spot in the order. But the batting depth has come through for the Longhorns here today, Ty.
He catches this changeup and gets out front just ever so slightly, but because of it, he leverages out that bat in full extension and catches his barrel. See, he had a smile as you were talking about with Coach Schlossnagle. Now he's talking to his teammates and his coaches about that. Put a smile on your face about what type of pitch it was.
4th home run in his last 9 at-bats, 32 in his career, tying Danny Peoples for 8th all-time here at Texas. Missouri goes to Eli Skidmore, freshman from O'Fallon, Missouri. 18th appearance on the year, is tied for the team lead. You see the 2-0 record with an ERA of .457, 26 strikeouts and 21 2/3.
Bit different arm action, a little bit lower, 3/4 arm slot. Fastball breaker change.
Ethan Mendoza swings at the first pitch. It'll get to shallow center. And Maisonet is there for the final out of the inning. Texas gets some needed insurance. 2-run homer by Borba, RBI single by Anthony Pack Jr., 5-1 Horns.
Dylan Volantis, the Friday night ace for the Longhorns. After that first home run to the leadoff hitter to start the game, settles in with another double-figure home runs. As you just see the different ways he gets after the right and left-handed hitters. A lot of it with that breaker right there. He has been Dylan Volantis-ish tonight.
86 pitches as he begins the 7th, facing the last man to get a hit off him. That's Donovan Jordan, who singled to lead off the second. His error in right field in the bottom of the sixth allowed Texas to tack on a run in that 3-run frame to take a 5-1 lead. Jordan fouls this back, and he's behind in the count 0-2. So I'm expected to be Valantis' last inning. 5 outings of 10 or more strikeouts. And today is the 4th time he's done that in his last 5 starts. Bounces off the mound. Mendoza there and hurries to first in time for out number 1. Brother Becerra at second.
It's all right. No, he got him out front. Clips that ball off the end of the bat. Becerra doing a good job closing down on it. Knew he wasn't going to have much time. Had to come up with it out of his glove in a hurry and make a quick throw.
Ethan Mendoza still a bum shoulder enough to keep him out of the field, DHing today, and Becerra moving over to second from his usual third base spot. Now Caden Peart, who's 0 for 2.
I think it's fair to assume that this would be his last inning if he gets through this inning. If he was efficient and had two more quick outs, I think it could be discussed that he would come back out.
So you're a longtime head coach, of course. So is there do you look at actual pitch count? What else goes into that
pitch
decision?
count. Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. Pitch count, number of days of rest, compressed week from last weekend, and, you know, day short. But I mean, I think this is probably, if he gets through this, it would be his last, but the pitch count's part of it. Get a look at this fake drag, whether not a fake drag, was trying to drag it out. Looked like he pulled the barrel back in time.
That's a strike call. Now 2-2. .6:30 Central first pitch tomorrow. Then the regular season wraps up 2 o'clock Saturday. Luke Harrison to get the start tomorrow. Ruger Rioja Saturday, same order as the series in Knoxville last weekend. And we talk about health, and obviously we've seen a few Texas hitters get banged up here and there throughout the season. But the Longhorns have had the same weekend rotation, not the same order, but the same 3 pitchers going every weekend. Diving to his right, Larson flipping to Valantis in time, 2 down.
How about this nice diving play by Larson? This ball is hit well and hit sharp to the right of him. Pays to be a left-handed first baseman on this play. Watch this right here. This ball is striped hard. A little two-hopper on the line. Full extension into his glove. Feeds to Valantis on his way to first base.
7 straight retired by Valantis. Up to 95 pitches, and now Chris Patterson, the Missouri third baseman, who's 0 for 2.
You know, we talked about before this series started that the Texas pitchers were in line this time of year, if they so choose, not saying tonight, so choose to let these guys get out, because they haven't gone over 100 pitches very often this year. They have some. They've done a great job of keeping them fresh.
Borba charges onto first, and a 1-2-3 frame again for Dylan Valantis. If that is it for him tonight, he retires the last 8 Missouri Tigers that he has faced. A standing ovation for Dylan Valantis as we stretch in Austin. Dylan Valantis, 11 strikeouts. He's retired the last 8 Missouri hitters. And he sees his Texas bats do the job with a 3-run 6 for some valuable insurance, a 5-1 Longhorn lead. Chase Woida got the game started with a solo shot for Missouri. But then Texas responding with 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th, and 3 runs in the 6th, highlighted by Casey Borba's 2-run blast.
Casey home runs, Borba home runs have been topic of conversation for the last couple games. As it was, he went through a stretch in the middle of the year where it seemed like every game he was coming up with a homer.
4 homers in Borba's last 6 at-bats. Also include a double as far as his hot streak. And up to 16 home runs this season, 32 for his career. He's due up 4th here in the inning. Adrian Rodriguez, followed by Becerra and Larson to begin the 7th. And Rodriguez taps that foul. It's 1-2.
Yeah, about the time Casey's, cooled off a little bit as a hitter, Borba, they moved him back over to third with some injuries, and he played third all last year and spent a lot of time working on his first base. So I would assume he probably put a lot of focus that he normally would have been put towards his hitting to the defensive side of it.
Swing and a miss, and Rodriguez strikes out. I paused for a second. He's looking at his hand a little, and I thought, did he perhaps hurt his hand? I think he's all right, but we'll see him swing here as he's out number 1.
He tried to get up and get after that. That heater was elevated. He is a tough baseball player. I mean, early in the year, watching him swing and how painful it looked, and he just kept going and kept going.
Tema Becerra on a 6-game hit streak coming in. Multiple hits in all those games, but 0 for 3 today with a couple of strikeouts. Ashton Larson on deck. Now behind 0-2. Missouri 6-21 in conference play. This is still a much better team than last year. They went 3-24 last year. 3-27 rather. There was only 3 wins, all against Texas A&M. But they were run ruled 11 times in conference play. Run ruled 4 times this year. I mean, most of their Friday games have been quite close. So improvement for Carrick Jackson. And obviously so tough for this Missouri program going up against all the other teams in the SEC, especially from a geographic standpoint, in trying to get this program even to the next level, Todd.
And what you're describing from a year ago was you probably, if you were the opposing team, you may not have had to play your best to beat them. That's not the case this year. You have to play good. And you got to play hard. You got to play good to come out of there with a win against them.
Appeal to first, no swing, says Darren Hyman. 2-2 the count.
We were talking earlier too, Tim Jamison, the former head coach at Missouri, who, well, every time they really had it going on, and he was at the helm of it as the head coach, is now back as a player development guy, and I'm sure a huge asset for Carrick and his staff to have him around and his knowledge. He's an excellent baseball guy.
Tim Jamison's 31st season overall at Missouri. To second, Maisonet. And there's 2 down. So notable scores across the conference. Texas A&M got down early, still down big. 17-7 in College Station, bottom 7. Alabama, one of those teams hoping for a top 8 seed in the NCAA tournament. 5-3 the lead over Ole Miss in the 8th. Tennessee defeated Oklahoma earlier today. This is game 2 of the doubleheader, and they're up 6-5 looking for the sweep. And Georgia a 2-1 lead at Auburn, bottom 6. Bulldogs have already clinched the regular season conference crown. The 21-6 conference record coming into today. So if all these scores hold up, then at the end of the day, Texas will be all alone in second in the SEC. Again, top 4 get a double bye in the SEC tournament next week. And a win goes a long way to locking up a top 8 national seed for Texas when the tournament brackets are announced Memorial Day.
Yeah, that OU Tennessee series, you're already on a short rest day, right from last week, playing on Thursday and then playing a doubleheader means that both your starters are really short rest.
Ooh.
For both those teams.
Fortunately, that hit the railing in the front of the Texas dugout, but a number of players took a couple of steps back. Everyone's all right. 1-2 the count to Larson.
You gotta have your head on a swivel if you're gonna get in that dugout. Well, back in the day, they didn't have anything in front of the dugouts. It was open space, and the original dish falk, and it didn't have anything as far as protection, so you really had to keep your head on a swivel. Now you see the screening, they got some pads, you can put your elbows up.
Full count now to Larson. He was hit by a pitch last inning and scored. He has 2 of Texas's 5 runs. Just 6 hits for Texas today, but 4 coming with runners on base. Larson works the walk. He's reached base 3 times today. He's on with 2 down here in the 7th.
Yep, he's had a good day offensively and defensively with that great play he made last half inning.
And now Casey Borba. 2-run blast last inning, 16th of the year, 32nd in his career, tied for 8th all time here at Texas. He also doubled in the 3rd, walked in the 4th. Floats in for a strike. So we talk about the balance in the order now. Borba on his hot streak. Larson reaching base 3 times. Here's the 0-1. Shortstop Dernan comes in and on to first in time, and that'll do it. Here in the 7th, Borba retired for the first time tonight. Texas left off the board, but a 5-1 lead for Ashton Larson and the Longhorns. This night is done, and Ty, another masterpiece for the Game 1 starter.
Oh, man, and then look, the leadoff hitter hits a homer, and even the next inning leadoff guy got on, but he was able to just manipulate that breaker. Occasional fastballs, he kept the offense off balance all evening long. And he was the Friday night starter on a Thursday night tonight.
11 strikeouts, 1 shy of his career high, 95 pitches. There's never been a time this season when he's been knocked out early. His shortest start was 4 innings, but he held Auburn scoreless, but they worked him 94 pitches in those 4 innings. But never a time when he's had to come out so early in the game. He has been so consistent on the mound for Texas. Hayden LeFew is now on, the junior from Kannapolis, North Carolina. 4-1 on the season. Got the win Sunday at Tennessee after throwing 3 scoreless innings, only allowing a hit. And you see, Ty, he's just allowed 8 hits in 19 1/3. He's walked 13, but 31 strikeouts.
Yeah, teams are hitting a whopping 129 off of him. I mean, that's real. Now, you know, the walks are up for him probably more than he would like, but you're talking about a swing miss. It's an over-the-top fastball that's got some juice behind it, and it's got an over-the-top grumpy breaker off of it that it's hard on right and left-handed hitters.
Eric Maisonet, the first to face LeFew, Jamal George, and then the top of the order, and Woida on deck. Maisonet hit by a pitch in the 5th, was left on. And they're for a strike, and it's 1-1.
That's the confidence that Max Wiener has in these guys with those breakers. He missed with the first one to create ball 1 to the leadoff hitter, goes right back to that breaker and lands it.
That missed. 2-1 the count now. LeFew struck out 5 in those 3 innings of work in Knoxville Sunday. Bouncer right side, Larson there, taking it himself for the first out in the 8th. So, of course, Texas hoping for a top 8 seed come NCAA tournament time. That means you're guaranteed home games until Omaha if you can get that far. And what a difference it's been, not just overall, but in SEC play. Look at the difference, Ty. 9-3 at home, 7-7 on the road. Better hitting at home, certainly better pitching. 2.95 team ERA in SEC home games, 5.5 away from Austin.
Not a comfort of sleeping in your home bed, knowing the mound and pitching in front of a home crowd, but it's just, I think a lot of that's just, you know, familiarity with your surroundings, comfort level with it. And when you go on the road, the other team likes playing at home too, right? So they're defending their turf, you know, for lack of a better word, and probably get a lot more confident offense that you're competing against.
7-7 on the road in the SEC is awfully good. There are only 2 series losses in conference coming on the road. They lost both games. They were able to get in at Texas A&M, and again last weekend lost 2 of 3 at Tennessee. Remember, back in March, they won 2 of 3 at Auburn. He was also likely a top 8 seed if the season ended today. That's fair off the bat of the left fielder Jamal George into the left field corner. George will stand at second with a double with 1 down here at the 8th.
George doing a good job of catching this breakers. We get another look at it. Elevated enough. Catches enough of the middle part of the plate, puts a good swing on it, hooks it down the left field line. Stand up double.
So now Wojda, who got the game started with a solo shot in the first, Missouri's only run in their first strike. If Texas is to hold on, going back to the importance of getting home games come the postseason, they will be 27-4 at home. 10-3 at home in SEC play. Overall, in true road games this season, they're 8-8. And of course, home games doesn't guarantee you a spot in the Supers. And of course, going to Omaha, Texas was a top 8 seed last year, but UTSA took the Austin Regional. This is obviously a different team. That pitching staff this time last year was very banged up. And it showed, although UTSA played awfully well. 1-2 now the count. But a different team. We talked about the improved hitting the last few weeks, more balance in the lineup, and the pitching's been solid all year.
Yeah, it has. And these are these moments right here for a few. These are their moments. You know, the last 6 outs of games, coming in late.
Hit the opposite way, and that's going to find the gap for a base hit and roll all the way to the wall. George will score, and Wojda is responsible for both Missouri runs. The solo homer in the first, and here an RBI double to make it 5-2.
Yeah, a few slide steps on this. Doesn't go to big leg kick. Tries to sneak it past him. Boy, what a good-looking swing that is. Ball away from him, not trying to pull it, stays on it. Really good offensive, mature approach to a baseball, particularly with 2 strikes. Able to come up with an RBI double.
47 RBIs for Wojda this season, which easily leads the team. The top of the order is definitely the best part for Missouri. They are top heavy in the lineup. Cam Durnan, although he's 0 for 2 with the walk, coming in, sitting over 500 in his last 7. Hitting .324 overall to lead the Tigers. High for a ball. The SEC co-freshman of the week, Blaze Ward, is on deck.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if there was somehow they get another base runner on or a base hit, that if Texas wouldn't go to Cozart.
2-1. Sam Cozart would be well rested. He only threw an inning last weekend. Well, it's 3-1 now. Of course, no non-conference game this week for Texas, with this series starting early, being the last week of the regular season. Brett Crossland is warming up for Texas. Left side, backhanded Rodriguez. This is a tough throw onto first, and Durnan's able to beat it out. His first hit, and all of a sudden the tying run will come to the plate for the Tigers.
Yeah, this was going to be a tough play, David. It ball's hitting the 6-hole. Watch Rodriguez range to his left, going away from his throwing target. That was going to be a tough play to be able to get the baseball there in time. It was a good play fielding it, but whoa, when you're just going with that much momentum away from your throwing target, it's hard to get it there in time with enough on it.
Pitching coach Max Wiener out to talk to LeFew and the Texas infield. Well, of course, this is the last week of the regular season, and the SEC tournament gets rolling Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, with SEC now holding down the table at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central on Tuesday. It's live on the SEC Network and on the ESPN app. We know Missouri will play in one of the first-round games Tuesday. Texas hoping for the double bye to the quarterfinals on Thursday if they can finish in the top 4 in conference play come the end of Saturday's games. So Blaze Ward, the SEC co-freshman of the week, had 6 hits in the Vanderbilt series with 4 runs batted and a first pitch ball from LeFew. Representing the tying run, he has 3 home runs this season, 31 runs batted in, comes in on a 6-game hit streak, although today he is 0 for 3. And their first strike, 1-1 the count.
So far, what Missouri's been able to do this inning is not chase too many balls out of the zone. That big breaker where they expand, the few will expand the zone on you. And it's got so much depth to the breaker to entice those hitters, and they'll chase it out of the zone. So far, they've been pretty good about not.
To right, won't carry. Robbins there, and coming off first base was Durnan. The throw to first, though, is off target, and tagging from second to third is Wojda. Durnan was maybe 3 feet behind Wojda at second base when the catch was made, but he was able to get back to first safely. Here's another look.
Well, the reason why he wasn't able to make a strong throw to first is he was set up. Aiden Robbins was to go to third base with the throw, and then heard the infielders hollering at him. And so midline of deciding to throw, he tries to throw it back to first base, and his throw was just offline. Had it been on line, it was going to be a close play of doubling him up at first base.
So here's the catcher, Mateo Serna. He's 0 for 3. Of course, that being against Dylan Valentis, he struck out twice. Wojda at third, Durnan at first, and Serna representing the tying run with 2 outs here in the 8th. Just 6 extra base hits on the season for Serna, 4 doubles, 2 home runs.
Durnan taking a big lead at first base, trying to draw throws just from LeFew to see what the move looks like.
Base hit to left. Wojda scores. An RBI single for Serna. It's 5-3.
We've got a right-handed hitter coming up now with Jordan. We'll see if Texas decides to go to the right-handed pitcher. Carlson is ready.
And so is Jim Schlossnagle as he comes out. So Hayden LeFew allowing 2 runs and responsible for the 2 runners on base. He's just able to get 2 Tigers out as they have cut the deficit in half from 5-1 to 5-3. The freshman Brett Crossland will come in with the tying run at first and the go-ahead run at the plate for the Tigers. There your share of Tigers looking at the iPad and the scouting report for Brett Crossland, who comes in for Texas with Missouri already having scored 2 in the top of the 8th. And with 2 runners on, tying run at first, go ahead run will come to the plate. So this is what they have done this inning. After Eric Meisen had grounded out to begin the frame, Carrick Jackson saw Jamal George line this double into the left field corner. To get things started, Jace Woida, an RBI double to the left center field gap to score George to make it 5-2. After Dernan hits this infield single despite the nice effort from Adrian Rodriguez, 2 batters later, Mateo Serna, an RBI single to the left to give Missouri 2 runs in the frame and make it 5-3. Brett Crossland looking to stem the tide. The big freshman from Phoenix, Arizona, pitched Saturday at Tennessee, allowed 3 runs. Those 3 runs, the most he's allowed in his 20 appearances this season. He has been tremendous in his first year here at the 40 Acres. 1-2, an ERA of just over 3, 31 strikeouts in 22 innings. The closer Sam Cozart, fellow freshman, warming up in the pen as Donovan Jordan, who started his college career here at Texas, though redshirted before moving on to Missouri, is at the plate.
Now, Crossland's going to be power stuff, power cutter, power fastball, a good breaker with depth to it.
2-0 the count.
Now Jordan finds himself in an offensive count with 2 outs and a 2-0 count.
In there for a strike, 2-1. In SEC home games, Crossland, 15 strikeouts in 8 innings. Here comes the 2-1. Missing, 3-1 the count.
As a hitter, when you face somebody for the first time, now you've seen 4 pitches, so at least you've got a little bit of timing device off of it to get yourself ready to hit.
Ground ball, Rodriguez at short, flips to Becerra to force out Serna, and that will do it. Missouri scores 2 in the top of the 8th, and all of a sudden, Texas's lead just 5-3. Not many games left to impress the tournament committee. Some wanting a top 8 seed, some just looking to get in. Latest D1 baseball field of 64 has the SEC with 7 1 seeds, 5 in the top 8. Then you had Florida and Mississippi State getting a regional host, being in the top 16. 2 seeds, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Kentucky, a 3 seed. Tennessee's looking to sweep Oklahoma today in a doubleheader. Ole Miss has already lost to Alabama. Texas getting the number 6 overall seeds, the lowest they've been after losing 2 of 3 last weekend to Tennessee. But you just want that top 8, and you want to be able to host the Super if you can get through the regionals.
Yep, it's all about position. Look, you've got a huge body of work already in the barn, and now it's maintaining what you've done. And this time of year, as coaches, you not only want to win, but you want to play good. And you want to grab some confidence and some momentum, or continue to play good, whichever one it may be, as according to how you're doing at the moment. But this time of year, you really want your team plugged in, playing alert, and playing well.
Darian Pendergrass takes a first pitch ball. Now 1-1 to the Texas center fielder with Aiden Robbins and Carson Tenney due up. Pendergrass 0 for 3. First game in almost a month after tweaking a hamstring in the Alabama series here.
We're talking about this time of year, and you know, coaches really emphasize everything you've been working on all year. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. The game dictates you're going to get out. The game dictates you're going to give up hits. That's the way it's designed. But it's how you do it. It's how you're performing. It's how you're playing, how alert, how communicative.
Called strike 3. Sam Rosand gets the strikeout of Pendergrass, and there's one down.
This ball looks like it gets right down at the bottom of the strike zone, right at the kneecaps, catching the outer corner of the plate. That's one of those pitches, if you do swing at it, your best chance is you're going to foul it off and live to the next pitch.
Top of the order now in Robbins, first pitch strike. Good frame of that pitch by Serna, and it's 0-1. Robbins sacked fly in the 3rd, tied the game at 1, then he walked and scored in the 5th. That gave Texas a 2-1 lead. Big cut as Rosan took something off, and there's count now 0-2. Kyler McDaniel has Robbins as the projected number 17 overall pick and the upcoming Major League draft by the Astros. Can he pitch? Because the Astros need that, at least this year.
Yeah. Well, he's proven that out, that he's that high level of a baseball player. You know, the transition from aluminum to wood is not going to bother him. He's got enough juice in there. Multiple positions he can play outfield wise. But if you're going to go in those first couple rounds, those pro scouts think enough of your bat speed, your exit velocity, but your ability to hit different types of pitches and different pieces of the plate. Otherwise, you know, a lot of guys become one-dimensional with power, meaning only balls they can touch or middle or in. But Aiden Robbins been able to use the whole field all year.
Patterson at 3rd, on to 1st in time, and there's 2 down.
Patterson doing a good job ranging over to his left, filling this ball one-handed, throwing on the run.
His first assist of the day, and that brings up Carson Tinney. What might be a key run, depending on what happens at the top of the 9th. Tinney hit a fly ball to right that Donovan Jordan simply dropped, and Tinney would later score on an Anthony Pack single. Pack is on deck, and a first pitch strike to the Texas catcher. He's also singled and walked. 1 for 3 today with that run scored.
Number of pitches this guy's seen this year has got to be a lot. I'm telling you, he has rare that he has one pitch at bats.
His walk in the 3rd is 42nd of the year. He's pretty much led Texas in that category since opening weekend.
You know, everybody was talking about, because he's brought those, you know, pretty gaudy offensive numbers with him with homers, and the column I think a lot of people forgot to look at was his walks, and you know, even coming in, and they've increased this year.
Big cut, now 2-2.
And everybody was waiting for the power to arrive, and it was there. I think early in the year he was a little excited that barrel was probably pointed more towards left field. I think it was sometime in mid to late March he hit a line drive to right field. I remember thinking to myself, yeah, look at him, and he starts bringing that side of the field into play with his power, and all of a sudden, you know, how do you get him out? You know, I mean, one of those things. And you know, if you take away pieces of the plate as a hitter, and if you can cover up all of it, you make it tough on those guys to try to figure out how they are going to get you out.
To center, hit well, and that's a Texas round tripper. Home run number 18 of the year for Carson Tinney. It's 6-3.
Right on cue, we were talking about hitting balls the other way and back up the middle and being able to handle balls away with this kind of power. Watch this right here. David, he just, that ball middle, center cut, runs back over the plate. He gets every bit of it behind it with that barrel. And I mean, just drives this ball out to center field for a home run.
His 18 home runs, one more than he had last season at Notre Dame with 17. His 45 RBIs, one more than he had last season at Notre Dame. And his OPS is pretty much even with what he did in an Irish uniform one season ago. Never has Texas had two hitters with 20 or more home runs. They're close now. Aiden Robbins 19 and now Tenney with 18. 421 feet off the bat.
That ball was smoked.
To first, Wojda flips to Rosand, and that'll do it as Anthony Pack is the final out of the eighth. Insurance for Texas, 6-3 as the Longhorns look for another win in SEC play. Texas holds off Missouri. They'll go to 17-10 in league play, which would put them in second, a half game ahead of Alabama. Right now, Texas fourth because they're tied with Texas A&M, but the Aggies beat the Longhorns twice this season. Of course, top four receive a double bye in next week's SEC tournament. Right now, A&M is trailing Mississippi State 17-11 in the ninth in College Station. So if Mississippi State and Texas hold on, Texas will be all alone in second in the SEC heading into tomorrow's action time.
Well, the Aggies were down to their last couple of outs, down 17-7 in the seventh, and showing what their offense is all about. I mean, by and making a game of it. But I mean, there's going to be, you brought it up early in the game, there's going to be a lot of scoreboard watching going on over the next 3 days.
Auburn trailing Georgia 2-1 in the eighth. If Auburn can come back and win and A&M loses, the Aggies are in fifth. So here's Sam Kozart, the freshman from High Point, North Carolina. And much like Brett Crossland, who we saw last inning, instant impact. Let's call him Sam Close-Art, because look what he is doing in the SEC. The freshman in SEC play leads pitchers in opposing batting average, whip, K rate, ERA, almost 14 strikeouts per 9 innings, and 6 saves in SEC competition.
There's a lot of things about that tells you about what kind of pitcher he is, and to add in there he is a freshman adds a lot to that, you know, elite stats that he already has. And when you start digging in there, opponents are hitting 110 off of him. And you go at the walks are only 12 walks in 43 innings. Obviously the strikeouts was 61. I mean, he is a get busy guy on the mound.
Started the season as one of the midweek starters. Now, the longtime closer looking for his 8th save of the year overall. Caden Pierre 0 for 3. A 2-0 count. Big cut, 2-1, 95 rather on the fastball.
Gets a lot of strikeouts on that fastball. I mean, it is, when it shapes up and he lines up right and delivers it, I mean, it is a ferocious pitch. You'll see him go with 2 strikes and often go right to that fastball.
There it is, 2-2.
I mean, it is intentional. And what I mean by that, it's rare that he throws fastballs way out of the zone with no purpose behind them. I mean, it's got intention along with the velocity.
Tap foul. Nice slide by Larson, but another chance for Pierce. Still a 2-2 count. Luke Harrison to get the start tomorrow. And then Ruger Riojas on Saturday in the regular season finale. Sam Kozart tonight, looking to get the save and give Dylan Valantes his 8th win of the year. Valantes struck out 11 in 7 innings of work, just allowed a solo home run and nothing else. The 2-2 from Kozart. Count now full.
He was going to let that fastball eat. That thing, that was about a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. He was going to get everything he had in behind it.
You go back to it here?
I think he does.
Here comes the payoff from the freshman. got him. Not a fastball, did the job.
I'm a cutter, 87-mile-an-hour cutter. It used to be a lot of people's velo on fastballs back in the day, but you're talking about a confidence. Hitter thinking the exact same thing what we were just talking about. He's going to go back to that fastball. He rips a cutter.
Dylan Valantis last season as the Texas closer, 11 saves, an SEC freshman record. But Cozart's ERA, WHIP, and opposing batting average better in conference play. We know just how dominant Dylan was closing out games last season for the Longhorns. First pitch strike to Chris Patterson, who's 0 for 3. Last Sam Cozart save came 13 days ago, a 3-1 win against Mississippi State here when he struck out the side in the 9th. That's foul, and the count now 0-2.
This is often the type of sequence he likes. He likes to use that cutter early in the count, or that big slower breaker early in the count to get you kind of leaning out front, looking for, you know, secondaries, and then here comes that 95.
Another strikeout, 2 down.
There it is. He gets you out front, gets you thinking it's going to be a secondary pitch, top of the triangle in. It's just so hard to catch up with that intentional heater.
His K rate, 38%, best in the league, 10th in Division I. It's almost double the Division I average. Last chance for the Tigers, Eric Maisonet. 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch in the 5th. Another first pitch strike.
That's more to his sequence, getting that slider, getting that cutter over.
One and one. Texas now 1 strike away. And the fans on their feet here at UFCU Disch-Falk Field. It's a strikeout, a throw to first. Sam Cozart closes it out again. Save number 8. He strikes out the side. Texas wins 6-3.
Sam Cozart doing exactly what he does. Clozart comes back out with 3 punch-outs here in the 9th inning. Just cool as a cucumber out there on the mound, those last 3 outs. But, I mean, it is power off the mound.
Dylan Valantis gets win number 8. Sam Cozart save number 8. Texas takes game 1 against the Tigers as they improve to 27-4 at home this season overall, and they have not lost a series at home in SEC play or at all. Overall, the Longhorns 38-12, 17-10 in league play. Game 2 against the Tigers tomorrow, 6:30 Central, here on SEC Network Plus. For Ty Harrington and our entire crew, I'm David Salzman saying so long from UFCU Disch-Falk Field. Casey Borba's 2-run bore bomb helping the Longhorn cause. They defeat Missouri 6-3. This has been a presentation of the SEC Network and ESPN. So long.